Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. I thought I'd have a bit of fun here today and just go through some Canadian baby names. And the reason I decided to do that was earlier on I was thinking about, I used to write articles for Canadian Living's website. That's a magazine I used to work for. I used to be a web editor there. And we had this fabulously popular series about Canadian baby names. Tons and tons of people would come to read them on this site, and people could just not, honestly, they could not get enough of different baby names that were popular. And I think it's still like a popular thing to look up, right? If you're having a baby, you want to know what are the popular names, either so you can be in on the trend or you can totally maybe avoid the trend. But anyway, I thought I would do an updated one because I have not thought about this subject in honestly about 6 or 7 years. Maybe it's even more at this point. But I wanted to see what's hot and happening in the world of Canadian baby names right now. I found this list from Babycenter.ca, and so they do a great job every year of updating what the most popular ones are. So the most recent ones, apparently, according to this list, are, and I'll read up to 30 of them. And then after I do that, I'll do some of the boys. And then after that, I'll tell you about actually what I named my son, who's 10 years old now, why it's not ever going to be on either of these lists, and like some of the pros and cons of the name that I picked. We picked an Irish name. But anyhow, let's do the girls' names first. Ava is number 1. Mia, Ivy, Zoe, and I have a friend who named her baby Zoe, so I guess it is on trend. Eva. So 1 is Ava with an A, and 5 is Eva with an E. So there you go. Leah, Anna, with just 1 N, A-N-A. Aria, Emma. Ella, Gia, with a G, G-I-A. Amelia, Isla. Nia. Sophia, Maya, spelled M-Y-A. Eve, which is kind of like Eva, but okay. Olivia. Olivia's down to 18. That used to be like number 1. Olivia was like the number 1 name for a while, I'm pretty sure. Amy. Kira, spelled K-I-R-A. Lily, Abigail. Emmy, just E-M-Y. I've never even heard of that name. I've heard of E-M-M-Y, but not E-M-Y. Mila, M-I-L-A. Ellie. That's number 25. E-L-I. Ellie? Eli? Ellie? E-L-I? I don't know. So anyhow, that is the girls' names, and now I am just going to find the boys' names. My name will never be on this list, by the way. Like, not in a million years, because my name is Helen, and that has not been popular since, maybe 1920 or so, although you do get the odd Helens that are around my age, and the odd younger one, and it tends to be a more popular name in England. It's been a more popular name. Like, you will find Helens who are like younger, but generally speaking, new Helens tend to be around 80. Okay, so top boys' names, according to Babycenter.ca. Liam. That one's been popular forever. I think even like 7 years ago, Liam was like the number 1 or number 2 name even back then. Jackson is number 2. 3 is Noah. Lucas. Logan. Oliver. No surprise there, Oliver has been popular for a long time. William. Benjamin. Mason. Grayson, spelled G-R-A-Y-S-O-N. Jacob is number 11, and Jacob's been popular. I think that was maybe even the number 1 name when my son was born. 12, Owen. James. Jack. Ethan. Zane, Z-A-Y-N. Lincoln. Leo. Thomas. Hudson. Caleb. Mateo. M-A-T-E-O. Mateo. Caden. K-A-Y-D-E-N. It's number 23. Number 24 is Elijah. And 25 is Hunter. So there you have it. Those are the top 25 of the girls and the top 25 of the boys. Okay, so my husband, my son, nor I will never be on these name lists, are not on these name lists. My name is Helen, as I've said. My husband's name is Niall, N-I-A-L-L, and for the longest time, nobody knew what his name was. They were saying like Niall or Niles. That was like big when Frasier was a thing. They called him Niles all the time. When we lived in Quebec, it was always Niall, as I had said. But then One Direction came with Niall Horan, And so Niall says that there's like a certain demographic of like young person that knows how to like his name and how to spell it, that came up like being a fan of One Direction. So things have gotten a little bit easier for him. And of course, when he's actually in Ireland, it's no big deal. Like everybody knows the name Niall. It's not a big deal like it is here. People have actually heard of it. Okay, so my son's name is Cillian. That's Cillian. And let me tell you, this name trips everybody up. People always think it's Cillian. Yes, he's silly. No, it's not Cillian, it's Cillian. It's a hard C, but I know it's like we chose the Irish spelling. I mean, you can choose a K, but then the first part of the name spells kill, which I know is how it's pronounced, but I just was not too enthused about that being the first part of the name. Plus, I love how the C looks. There's this actor called Cillian Murphy, who you may or may not have heard of. He's not exactly a household name, but he's been in a ton of stuff. He's been in like some Batman movies, and he's been in, I think he was in Inception, and I think he definitely is in Peaky Blinders. He's just in a whole bunch of stuff, but he's sort of more of an indie-ish vibe kind of actor, even though he's not really an indie actor. He's pretty mainstream. And when I saw that name, I'm like, that is the most beautiful looking name. So I really chose it for how it looks. I love the C being that big open letter, and then the I and those looping L's, and then I and the A and the N. I just loved how the word looks, and I almost picked it from that, and luckily Niall liked the name too. I love Irish names, so I definitely wanted to choose an Irish name for him. And it was just unusual. I didn't really know anybody else named Cillian, although once in a while I still do hear it, like at playgrounds. I hear people call their kid Cillian and stuff like that. So, you know, it's a little bit in the zeitgeist, but not too much. And let me tell you, the number one thing I was worried about, though, was like something stupid happening with Cillian Murphy, and for him to like become a household name, but then also to become a major F up. So that would not have gone well. For the longest time, on a related note, I used to love the name Alexa. I thought it was a beautiful name, and I thought if you pick the name Alexa, not that I wanted to name our daughter that, just as sort of a side note, I love the name Alexa, but then you know what happened? Google went and picked it to have their assistant named Alexa. So now Alexa is like associated with, you know, talking to your Google device. So I'm kind of glad that I never would have picked that name, I don't think. Maybe if I had like multiple girls, one of them I would have considered. Our first pick for a girl's name was actually going to be Niamh, which is spelt Niamh, the Irish way. We love confusing spellings. Am I sorry that I picked the name Cillian for Cillian? Absolutely not. It completely suits him. If you met him, and you can, because he's done videos with me, and they're in my channel, I'll link to them. He's a Cillian. Like, he could not be any other name. He's definitely a Cillian. Am I regretful that sometimes people don't really know how to say his name when they see it? Even people that have heard me say the name Cillian and they've even read it, they just can't stop saying Cillian. I guess a tiny bit of regret about the spelling of it maybe, but I love that C, so I'm going to say not really. It's just a little bit more extra work for him. So yes, I guess I'm sorry for making that tiny extra bit more work for him, but I think that it's great that he has a unique name that really reflects him and also his heritage. And I'm not sorry that I picked it. I just wish that people would remember it's Cillian with a K sound, like a killer. Killer Bee is sometimes my nickname for him, and he hates it. Sometimes I call him Killer Bee. The nickname he picked for himself was Kit. K-I-T, ironically. When he was really small, he couldn't say the name Cillian, so he would say Kit. Okay, anyway, people, thanks so much for checking in here. This isn't the usual kind of video I make. I usually do short hair stuff and then other stuff about like eating and food and fun stuff with my son Cillian. So I do hope that you will stay tuned for those. But if you like this one, give this one a thumbs up. I want to know if this is something that you're interested in hearing more about. And thanks so much for joining me, and hope everyone is doing well, and we'll catch you soon.